If you know us, you know we both loved the U.S. space program growing up. I saw STS-1 land down at Edwards Air Force Base. I think I was 5 or 6 years old. So we've both gone to launches and landings during our younger years. Now that we're adults and have the opportunity to work on the road, we plan on hitting all the cool space-related sites around the country.
Over the summer, we ended up here at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama, which is the public end of NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center and Redstone Arsenal Army Post. So, for a couple of space nerds, this was a pretty cool stop.
The Visitor Center provides a host of different souvenirs and exhibits from the beginning of NASA to the latest endeavors to get to the Moon and Mars.
The walkway into the main exhibits showcase a plethora of space-related artifacts from various eras and media. As we walked through, I noticed there were a few things I used to own on display, and it brought back some nice memories. These spacesuits show the progression of how NASA modified the suit design over the years, based on vehicle design and mission needs. The first suit looked like an insulated parachute jumpsuit. It was quite interesting to see and compare them up close. This Mars rover simulator showed how the vehicle will be affected by the gravity.
This is a scale model of the new Artemis program with the Orion crew vehicle on top. The Orion vehicle is planned to be used for the upcoming moon missions. This is the actual Orion EFT-1 vehicle that was sent up while testing in combination with the Delta IV rocket. They also have an example of the Blue Origin seat and restraint design that the team is working on for suborbital flight.
This is a mock-up of 2 ISS modules containing replica racks that show the environmental control, the life support system, the food an astronaut would eat, and a sleeping berth, among other necessary aspects of life and work aboard the station. It also includes a replica of the Cupola observation module, which provides the astronauts a view of space and the Earth below.
This was one of my favorite parts of our trip. This is the shuttle experience where you can be part of a 20-minute ride in the Shuttle Discovery Simulator. It includes launching from Kennedy Space Center and landing back at Kennedy Space Center. You get to have a guided tour of the mission floor, visiting the Orion capsule, Mars habitat, and the International Space Station modules while you get in-depth details about the Space Camp missions and the real missions on which they're based.
This is the A-12 Ox Cart, which was the predecessor of the Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird, and was built with similar specifications, but with the key differences being a higher resolution camera system and its ability to go slightly faster than the SR-71. This was one of my favorite aircraft designs when I was a kid. I wanted to know what it was like to fly at Mach 3.3 at over 75,000 feet. It must have been really fun.
Here in the shuttle park is a full-size mock-up of a shuttle named Pathfinder. They're currently working on restoring the outer skin as the weather has taken a toll on it. The red frame on the side of the solid rocket booster segment is the body of the shuttle. There are also the engines that are attached to the back of the shuttle itself.
The trainer aircraft is a highly modified Gulfstream II, used to teach the pilots of the shuttle how to handle landing. It provides the same kind of controls and power output they would encounter while the shuttle glided in for a landing. There are other outdoor exhibits such as engines, helicopters, the Lunar Landing Module, and a replica of Skylab, which was America's first space station.
When entering into the Saturn V building, you see where aviation started in Alabama, with a replica of William Lafayette Quick's flying machine that he flew in 1908. He helped with the innovations that were designed into his machine and later refined for use in our modern-day aircraft.
The Saturn V rocket was a breathtaking sight as you walk through the door. They broke it up into multiple stages so you could see the details of how they connected and all the components you wouldn't normally see from the outside. All those stages ended up with a tiny crew capsule at the top. To stand there and imagine what was going through the astronaut's mind while sitting in those small quarters, waiting for the last few infamous words.
1, 0, all engine running. Liftoff.
These are some of the different capsules that the Saturn V rocket system used over the various missions. You can really get a sense of the amount of room they had to move around. The courage and mental acuity those astronauts must have had was definitely unique.
The replicas of the lunar rover and lander were very interesting. The rover looked like a go-kart you would have built with your friends over the summer, complete with the prized lawn chairs your mom had bought to sit in the sand at the beach while you played in the surf. They definitely designed it for weight savings and basic functionality. The tires are a really unique design to ride on top of harder surfaces, but still able to work in a more sandy terrain if they encountered it.
Being able to stand next to this command module and really look at how much it was affected by the atmosphere during re-entry is stunning. You can see the scorch marks and the chunks of heat shielding that were broken off, and yet the crew made it back safe and sound with 208 pounds of moon rocks and had bragging rights as being the first to record a spacewalk on their way back to Earth. It was truly an impressive display. So we had a funny incident with Loki while we were in the visitor center. They had a large blow-up astronaut with a guy inside that was walking around and taking pictures with the kids. Well, when I say big, he was really tall.
Loki and I decided to have a seat on one of the benches in the visitor center while Greg ran out to the Jeep to get something. I don't remember what it was.
Had to go get his water.
Oh, okay. So we were sitting there, and I saw somebody around the corner kind of directing someone else, almost like it was somebody with like a fork loader or something like that. So he comes a little bit further. The astronaut in this big suit comes around the corner. Loki looks over, and I thought he was going to jump out of his skin. He actually started barking and growling, and it was the strangest thing because I've never heard him do that. And people were, looking at him going, oh my gosh. And I was just as dumbfounded because I had never heard him react like that. And he was, trying to get away as well because he was scared. Poor thing.
As I was walking around the corner, I hear a bark, which I thought was odd because I didn't see any other service dogs while we were in the visitor center, so it was interesting to hear this bark. Well, I come around the corner and I see the astronaut, but I can't see Loki because he's technically behind the astronaut. But the minute I see the astronaut, it snaps in my head, oh my gosh, that's Loki, who's probably going to attack the astronaut.
But of course, I don't think he would have attacked the astronaut. He just really didn't know what to do with it.
So it came down to calming him down and getting him out of the situation because both the guy in the astronaut suit and the handler were getting a little nervous.
After all the training that we did with Loki, I really want to know, how do you train for that?
Yeah, definitely a one-off situation. The poor guy drank a lot of water, and it took a lot of pets to calm him down. Gladly, a little ways down the hall, we ended up finding an astronaut outfit that you can stand behind, and it looks like you're in the suit. So of course, we had a training moment, and each one of us took our time and stood behind the suit so he could tell that it wasn't going to hurt him. Who's in there? Who's in there, Papa? Who's in there? Who's in there, huh? Yeah. Smile. Yeah, huh? Who's in there? Who's in there? Where'd she go? There she is. There she is. As we close out this episode with Kendra and Loki taking us on a trip down the Gantryway, I want to thank you for joining us on another adventure. We hope you're enjoying our videos and continue to follow along. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one.